So let me just restate the opening. How's it going, everyone? Appreciate everyone joining us. We have a much bigger group this time in. So excited. So appreciate you guys all joining us for this Middle School Coaches Roundtable. Want to make it clear that we welcome youth coaches from below middle school in as well. We just want to make sure this is a place where youth and middle school coaches can talk, not only spread and air raid, as obviously that's kind of what started this whole thing, but you know, I think we could all learn from each other. Youth football, I believe, is pretty unique because we're all volunteers for the most part. I only know probably one guy in my whole life that got paid for doing youth football, and it was more for being on the back end, on the steering committee of the whole organization. But we're all volunteers, and you know, we're usually in this for a handful of years and we're out. So let's, you know, while we're doing it, make it as good as we can and spread as much knowledge as we can. So if you guys know other youth coaches that are run game dominant, I'd love to learn from them. If you guys have youth coaches that are defensive minded folks, and I know a lot of you guys do both, it's always great to bounce what we're doing against defensive minds and see how it all shakes out. So please continue to invite people. Today's agenda, get into it real quick. You know, so we wanted to focus on quick game, as I mentioned. That seems to be where most of the questions are coming. People are most excited about, I think, for the most part, and I believe it's true. Quick game is where most of us will be calling most of our plays at the youth and middle school level. Some people at this level only run quick game because they need to get the ball out fast. So I wanted to just real quick take a second and talk about one question that I had that I wanted to address. But really what I want to do is go around and just pick a few people. I know a couple of you guys have stuff ready to go, and let you guys just take the floor, take the ball, show what you do, so everyone can kind of see what other people are doing. Since we have so many more people this time, what I'd love to do is if you guys look at the little bar to your right, you should see these little icons, like a little red or a little green yes button, a red no button. If you have anything prepared and you would like to present it, if you could click your little yes button, that green check button. If you look at my name, it now appears after I click it. If you want to get in the mix and talk about your quick game and you have something to present tonight, will you just click that little yes button so I can choose from those people? It'll make it a little easier for me to shuffle. I know a couple of you guys messaged me, said you had something ready, so that's great. But if you haven't talked to me and you want to present tonight
on the green,
yeah, so click that little green.
You know I'm ready to go. Just
yeah, I got you, Mike. But if anyone else wants to do it, and if you guys have any questions, if you don't see it, take yourself off mute and let me know. But I just want to make sure that you guys understand what I'm talking about, because this feature wasn't on the. Okay, good. Todd Jolly has it. Checked it. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. I know Mike Hardwick already is locked and loaded. So anyway, if you guys are interested in presenting tonight, click that little green button and I'll make sure that is the group that I kind of choose randomly from if we have to get to that point where there's a lot of presenters. Otherwise, we'll do quick game. You know, guys, last week, I think we only did one topic as we kind of went around and the time eclipsed so quickly. So I think quick game is going to be the majority of this call. But if we do have time, you know, I know one of the main questions I also get and that people love, there's so many different ways to get their plays in the game. I'd love to hear how other people are doing it. And we can kind of lean on that if we need to. I have a sneaky suspicion that when we get into this quick game stuff, we're not going to have much time left over. But anyway, enough of the housekeeping stuff. I appreciate it. Again, if you want to present and you have things ready to present, or you know, even if you just want to talk about what you guys do at a high level, just click that little. Sorry, my daughter's dancing around in front of me. Click that little green yes button, and I'll be able to know that you're interested in presenting. Okay. All right, cool. So as we kind of let people come in still, I know people are still streaming in. I just wanted to do just a real quick update on quick game because I got a question the other day And I'm a little embarrassed that that this question that I didn't answer this question in the video, the quick game video in flight school. It pertained to when we run all verts. It can be an ace or an open, right? Either way, it doesn't really matter. But the question was, you know, when we come up the line of scrimmage in our quick game, so again, we run all verts, 4 verts as a quick game. Come up the line of scrimmage, the quarterback is asking himself who is open right now. And the receivers in kind are also asking, when am I open, okay? And so I went through and talked about it on that video, and we defined the 7-yard barrier. If they're 7 yards up or 7 yards off or deeper, this guy's open and he's gonna run a 3-step stick and be ready for the ball. And the quarterback and the L, without even saying anything, without even signaling, the way that we rep it in practice and we've drilled this, they will just know automatically, hey, L is gonna run the stick and expect the ball, okay? 3-step stick. Quarterback has an option to go to him. Now, the question was about F, because in the video, I said, hey, he's uncapped and uncovered, so just get your butt up the seam as quickly as possible. And I left it at that. So I want to be clear, because I'm going so fast that we've evolved so quickly in this offense. It's the cool thing about this offense. Things evolve so quickly that we started running him up the seam if this was the look, which once in a while it was, mostly early in the season. So we started just throwing it like literally on the run. But the way we started the season and the way that I would kind of start in camp is this guy is open right now. Okay, so I would run, and this is how we started in spring ball last year and how we started camp. It wasn't until later that we evolved into just hitting this guy on a dead sprint. He is open technically now, so he should be doing a 3-step stick. He should be doing a 3-step stick. He needs to get to the open grass behind. He needs to get to the open grass behind. So the quarterback, after his pre-snap reads, can choose either one of these guys to throw to, okay? Period, end of story. They should be running 3-step sticks, both of them. Guys, this is a 5-yard gain, regardless of what happens after that catch. If he gets over and tackles them, fine. If this F in my offense, he's probably one of our best players. And we try to highlight this guy as a featured receiver. If he catches the ball, he's 9 times out of 10, he's a better athlete than this Will. Okay. So, you know, worst case, 4 to 5 yard reception. Best case, it's something better, and he's playing. He's out in space against one-on-one against a linebacker. Okay. So I just wanted to clarify that. That was the main question. This look right here, he is open right now, so he should be running a 3-step stick. Now, obviously, when he starts trying to shut that off, we are trying to get behind him. And I got a question coming in, and you guys feel free to take yourself off mute if you want. Where does that question go? Chat, where'd it go? Sorry, I cannot locate that. Oh, there it is. Screen is not shared. Oh, it says it's shared. You guys can't see it?
I
see it. Okay. George Lee. Hey, George, there's sometimes a third screen. It's really weird with Zoom that pops up next to it. So if you like minimize your main screen that you're using, you might see it behind there. So, okay. Just want to make sure everyone is seeing it. So yeah, so once this will comes over, then we're trying to get outside release, get over the top and restack. And all these guys are all outside release and then trying to restack on top of this defender. So we create the angles. Okay. So that's it. Any questions about that? Kevin Thompson. So feel free to take yourself off mute. Kevin, in our league, I only saw 2 safeties in the 14th game of the season in the NorCal title game. We only saw 2 high safeties the entire season in the last game of the season. And that's for middle school. I don't know if anyone else has, and that might be a great question. If anyone wants to come off mute and say that they had seen a too high safety. Look, I'd love to know, out of 21 people in this chat, how many people saw too high safety.
We see it.
You keep throwing it, and they'll do two high safeties.
Sorry,
So
I would say we see it from one team in our league. Their high school runs a 4-3.
Yeah.
And so they run a 4-3 from 5U all the way up.
Oh my God.
Too high safety, and we eat them alive. But we've also played them 3 out of 4 years of the championship game before we left that league.
Sure.
Their offensive coach was awesome, but defensively they ran it right. I mean, they were fundamentally sound, and they rolled down their safeties, but they played their safeties at about 7 yards to 8. So they end up being more like linebackers than safeties, kind of when I schematically played against them. But doing that, they took away most people's outside run game, which is what middle school youth football basically all about is. They all think, if I can just get outside, I'll win.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Well, we're saying,
honestly, go ahead. Go for it, George.
Twice. Well, like I told you before, we see a lot of that 6-2 defense where basically everybody is run commit and somewhat broken cover 3. But when we do see the too high, it's usually they drop one of those linebackers that's the guys that's committed to the run. They usually drop him back to safety, and it's usually again a broken cover 3. So it's literally every. Damn, I hope nobody comes to my spot.
Right. Anyone else have anything to add about a too high safety? Who asked that question?
Yeah.
You guys must see it.
Yeah, we do. We see some too high, but honestly, we're all front defense, so we play a lot of too high. And even if you get in trips, we're back to they take off a little bit to kind of take away the quick slant, just to get some support over there to that backside receiver. But here in Texas, you'll see a lot of 4-2-5, but you'll see a lot of teams still run a lot of hard front at the middle school level. So.
Yeah, I mean, what I'd say is just if you just follow the rules. Now, I've sent out a few times this video by the guy Patrick Taylor, who I stole this philosophy of. Now, he made an hour-long video, this single high safety, cover 3, and then basically the same rules apply for cover 0. This was how he runs that part of all 4 verts in that video. He does break it down against all the different defenses, and he's pretty high-level high school coach. So he will break down how he runs all 4 verts, against a too high safety. I kind of refuse to spend too much practice time on something that I'll see once a season. We were able to make adjustments, and the great thing about it is most of these coaches, our high school coaches, are above, and everything that they put their videos out on when I was first researching Mackey and Coach Salas, it's all against too high safeties, right? So there's plenty of information out there against that look. So, going into that final game where we did see a too high safety, I already had in my mind what those guys do. I went back and refreshed my memory, right? Just because it had been a whole season since I'd watched it. But there's a ton of information. Most teams with a too high safety will run this completely different, where they have their quarterback choose a side. I think it's by the pressing corner, and then it's actually pretty different where they would run this outside guy on a 13 or 14 yard out. This guy would run the seam, and then they would read inside to outside. But there's plenty of information out there. We just don't do it because it's just not worth the time for something that we don't see. But it's a great question. I mean, I'm so excited to go to high school at some point and play against that look, just because it's different. But luckily for us, in my situation, this single high safety is just stealing, not only for all verts, but corner is just deadly to run this against.
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're saying that this guy Patrick Taylor is where you got this philosophy on verts from?
Yep, exactly.
I'll have to look him up because what I'm wondering is that's such a cool way of getting kids that are, 11 and 12 taking some ownership of their routes, because a couple years ago, if you told them to run a 5-yard out, they ran 5 yards and then took a 90-degree. And, so this, I haven't gotten to this yet, but this looks really exciting. Are you finding that these kids are making the right reads? They're becoming more football knowledgeable, this way of having this idea to go out there, hey, I need to do more than just run a robotic route?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this has changed and in this video, he even talks about the drills he does. I mean, so we made it a real big point. Sorry, I'm going to share the link right now, but he makes a huge point about this on day one. I mean, just by the drills he does on day one, he literally just gives them a tennis ball. He doesn't even give them a football. And he lines up receivers. There's a link in the chat. He lines up receivers in 2x2, gives his quarterback the ball. He'll have his coaches be the defenders covering each of these players, and the coaches will vary where they are standing, and they'll just literally walk until you're open, and he'll throw the tennis ball to the guy that 7 yards or off more. So I mean, this video, I literally went to sleep watching this video multiple times last off season because I just wanted to consume it. But he has drills to go by that will reinforce it. I mean, all the drills that we do, the settle and noose and all those drills reinforce it as well. But really, you just have to make it's like a hard rule. Like it's not, oh, do it sometimes, don't do it others. It's a hard stinking rule. If this guy is 7 yards off or more, you are running a 3-step stick regardless, and you better be ready for that ball. And so what it's done is that on every play, when we are in any formation and we run all verts, every single receiver is coming to the line locked in mentally, right? Like this guy, if we call a different play, completely different, this guy to the left, this guy over here is he's checked out, right? It's not paying attention. But they're coming to the line, looking at where the alignment is. Okay, now I know the alignment. Now I'm going to do this. It just sets a precedent in their mind because we rep it it every day, that this is I'm engaged on every stinking play. And that, to your point, is gold, right? How to get a kid to pay attention on every play. Well, he might get a ball off the back of his freaking helmet, right? And that's not going to be cool to anybody. So it's actually a really cool way to kind of introduce not only our offense, but the whole philosophy behind it. Because when we get to stick and corner, even though we're running stick over here to the right or corner over here to the right, these guys are basically doing the same thing, right? They're going to run a stick either way on the backside, but they're going to expect the ball. And it's essentially the same concept, right? That, hey, even though we call, open Y stick, if this guy's uncovered like this, expect the ball and you're going to go make a play. And we haven't burnt a play. I haven't used anything on my script. It's just, okay, do you want to give me 5 free yards with one tackler on one guy? All right, let's go for it. So yeah, I think that Taylor and Jacob Morris, thank you. Do you know Patrick, Jacob? I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, 3 years ago or so, I was still coaching middle school at that time, and I talked to him during the off season. So
yeah, no, he's a good guy.
A small clip someplace where we're doing the tennis ball drill with middle school kids in the gym.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then another thing when you're talking about the 7 yards, it should be the back judge.
Yeah.
The back judge should be roughly about 7 yards. So if your kids can just look and find the back judge and see if your guy's deeper than that.
Yep. That's a huge point. And someone told me that, and it might have been on that Patrick Taylor video. And so Patrick and I have exchanged Twitter messages. I keep thanking him and all that stuff. And he's nice enough to tag me on a few of his posts. But I'm going to try to get him on here. He seems like a nice guy. So I've never asked him for that much, but yeah. And you know, that tennis ball thing, I think it's a huge way to set the table, but there's other stuff in here. But yeah, I mean, he is, I don't know, for whatever reason, the way he teaches it, it just speaks to me. It's a way to engage everybody and really make everyone feel like they're going to get a chance to.
It's a great way to run it. I wish I'd seen you earlier, because that's a great way to run it. We ran Verts, and it was really successful for us, but it was always downfield. It was always an 18-yard pickup.
Yeah.
We had the gift, whatever you call it. We had that stick open every time, because like everyone else says, we play teams that like to, you know, crash the A gap with 4 guys. So someone's always wide open on this with this concept.
You can get the ball out. I mean, and then you go to empty. He does it, and this might be that part of the video. He goes to empty out of it and runs the like a 1x4 formation. Oh, it's not in there. He goes empty on a 1x4 formation, and he's dragging this. Basically, this guy runs a shallow, and man, I mean, I wanted to run it so bad this year. I didn't get a chance to run it, but it's pretty nasty. And you get that going, and you got a blitzing in our league. You know, people got so sick of us doing this, they were just like, okay, we're just gonna bring the house, bring this guy, walk them up, and just see who wins. People just, I don't know. It just seemed like people.
Even when they do it, when they bring 7 with the quick game, we only got sacked when the quarterback would hold it, and we had a kid that would be kind of stubborn with that. But as long as you got rid of it quick, we never took a sack in that regard. It's like you can't. I don't think you can only blitz them out of their head, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Right on. Okay, cool. So I just wanted to get that out and just make sure I address the F in if he's uncovered. I would definitely start off by having around 3-step stick. I'm going to release another video because I know not everyone's on here, but I just wanted to make that clear because I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't on the video. Any questions before I start opening it up to you guys to show what you guys do for quick game? Any questions at all about quick game or anything from the videos that you guys saw that I didn't make clear, or you guys just wanted to know more about?
I just had a question. Any different 3-step, 5-step? We've been practicing, well, when we could practice with the 5 steps, and they seem to time up pretty good. Is that
from under center?
Varsity level, no, in shotgun.
So the quick game, I mean, honestly, you know, you say 1-step to 3-step. I think what it turned out to be was a quick 3. So I was lucky enough to have a quarterback coach. He played at University of Pittsburgh back in the 90s when we were all the right age. And he calls it a quick 3. So it's not like a full-on 3-step drop, but it's just like real quick 3 steps. And that usually times out with the read. So let's just, for Vert, you know, let's not say Verts because that's not the one where it's complicated. I think stick is honestly the most, for me, the most complicating quick game because, and I was bad at this year, especially at a 3x1. Making the one thing that I'm going to do this year that I'm going to make a point of doing is make this defender, even though we're reading the grass, right? This is the guy that's most likely going to, this outside linebacker to the concept side is the guy that's going to make it, most likely going to impact which grass we throw to, right? And so I need to make a way this year to make him decide much quicker. I don't know if you guys saw a few of those quick games that I showed early in the season. This F was actually running like a 2-step. It was almost like a 2-step and then an out. He would go up 2 yards and then out. It's my fault. I had never even heard of a shoot route, to be honest, before last season. So like I was more worried about bigger things than that. I wasn't really thinking that this F running forward 2 yards while this Y running forward would matter, but it does. We want this guy to declare, right? Is his job to get out in the flat or cover the F? Well, we want to know that quickly, right? So we can throw that stick behind. So this year, I think what I'm going to do is, one of the ideas I have is to do like a little push motion with this guy on stick just to get this guy's eyes going and make him declare. For sure, get him. You can let him switch his feet so he's directly to the sideline. That's at the very minimum what I'm going to do. Another idea that someone just gave me, might have been Mackie the other night on his show, was have this F just run a bubble. Again, it'll make this. I think that action would get this guy's attention, but essentially we just want to make this outside linebacker, the Sam, to this outside linebacker choose and tell the quarterback as quickly as possible, hey, where am I going, so I can throw the other way, right? And that's something that I did not do a great job of, especially on stick. And I think that's one of the main reasons we didn't have as much success on stick as I would have expected. Now, grant you, I loved all Verts and corner probably 80% more just personally. So I called them 80% more, but that's definitely something, even on corner, we still want to do that, right? We still want to make this guy choose, even though in corner, it's a secondary read. We're still going to look for the corner shot first against a single high. But yeah, to your point, timing it up, three steps. Let me just finish up. I'm sorry, I went on that rant. I didn't answer his question. For a quick three-step drop, it'll give this guy, the quarterback, enough time to see where this is going. We had been doing a one-step rocker, and he was kind of just standing stagnant in place, the quarterback, waiting for that outside linebacker to declare, if you will. But I think a quick three, and then that should give you enough time to declare. But if you guys have it timed up a different way, whatever works for the kids, obviously.
I was talking the receiver, the Y. Have you tried a 5-step, or is that too deep?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm totally not even talking about the
That's
right
okay
thing.
Because I haven't thought about a 3-step on the quarterback at all.
Yeah. So his rules, and I drew it wrong here. His rule of thumb is if this guy's close enough to aim at his inside shoulder, and we talk about it being a 4-step stick. I've changed it through the season depending on timing. So, I think you guys can do it however it times up best for you.
Your timing looked good in your videos. The kids looked right. It was very good. Yeah,
and that was a 4-step stick. And then we also run a 4-step corner to kind of keep it consistent. But we're aiming at the inside number to kind of run the stick at him. Again, trying to cross his face so he declares quicker.
Okay,
hey, Matt, is anybody doing stick as their quick game tonight?
So that's a good question. Mike, do you run stick? No. David Hunter, do you run stick?
We love it. We love it, but we don't run it as a quick game. And
I mean, I run it, but I didn't have tips for it. I was going to ask 2 questions. One, I bubble because also sometimes that short screen makes the cornerback sit. So when you do call your shot deep, that's the corner tends to bite on that bubble because we run so many bubbles, so many swing passes. But it also makes that linebacker commit sooner. But I was going to wait and ask if they're going to specifically go over that to save that question. But we run a bubble on that F instead of a shoot. One, I think a shoot pass is too hard to complete at the youth level personally. That bubble also is something those cornerback and linebackers are hearing from their coach. Stop the bubble, stop the bubble. It's just a swing pass. Why can't you get up on that?
That's a great call out. And, that is a weird angle looking over your outside shoulder. And it's almost like just the angle from the quarterback on a shoot. So, and maybe it was you that suggested that to me the other day, actually, now that I'm thinking about it with the bubble. I like that idea. That's something, again, I was looking for ideas of how to get that outside linebacker to declare. So.
Hey, Matt, did you – so we had a lot of success with basically flaring our running back out, and other teams started picking up on that. So what they do on stick or even on a corner is they would either bring that end, and he would just man up on our tailback and just shut the play down completely. Did you guys have anything to answer? And they would shut us down. Do you guys have any answers for that when they do that?
Yeah, and if you look at my cut-ups, you'll start to see us do push motion with that T. Literally, the quarterback will put him in motion and snap it when he's kind of outside the D end, and then he continue on with the swing. That was our biggest answer to that when they would peel off a D end. Anyone else have anything that they did when the D end would cover a running back on the swing?
Have your tackle just let him go and go downfield, and have your quarterback look at it, and if he sees that, then he just tucks it and follows. His tackle is just going to kind of loop around and just go upfield. It turns into an automatic quarterback run, and that'll stop that.
Ooh, I like that.
Oregon does that.
Oh, really? Just a rule, huh?
Well, pretty much ours turned into automatic quarterback scramble because our line was terrible. So.
Yeah, the O-line is I mean, it's just a young age to have five horses up there, right? I mean, it's just tough.
We actually do two things. One, we cheat the running back out pretty wide. So I mean, he's almost stacked behind the tackle, and then he jumps the snap count. So he's actually moving before the ball is even snapped. So he gets about a couple of step head start on it. So they can't get out there fast enough on it.
Yeah, that's kind of an air raid trick on your sweeps and flares. You widen the tackle out, and he lines up on the tackle's feet. So that's kind of an air raid trick. So the R, or your whatever you call your running back, he actually widens out anytime you're going to flare or sweep. That's just one of those things he's got to memorize. And he gets up a little bit, and he gets even with the quarterback instead of behind. And that's kind of like a little cheat thing there.
This is going to sound like a stupid question, but no one picks up on that. I've thought about that, and I was kind of worried that people would key on that.
Yeah, you still got to stop it, is what I always tell people, right? Like,
hey, true enough.
Right, and if you're going at tempo, if you go so fast, you're not really sure what you're looking at. He's going to take a step out. That was a one, you're gone. He resets really quick, and then you're gone.
Exactly.
Coaches, I have a clip of us running stick very poorly, where we influenced the outside linebacker. It's just that our quarterback didn't make a good read, and it was a big play for us when we did it right. But I have an example of when it doesn't work, when he reads it wrong, and it's kind of like that push motion gets his attention. I think is what we found, is that getting that push motion gets him he gets him excited. He comes out and he leaves that hitch area wide open, the stick area open.
Yeah, I love it. Are you gonna present tonight?
I can if you want.
Yeah, if you have stuff prepared, I mean, we could just kick it off unless anybody has any more questions. Can I just say one thing about this, Matt? Yeah, please.
One thing that I've done in the past, in the exact situation that you have for the early Y stick right there, if the defense was aligned exactly like you have it, we have fade out in our quick game also, and every one of our receivers knows how to run a stick route because of everything that we've mentioned before and whatnot. We have actually changed this if we wanted to get that linebacker to this side quicker. We have changed it so the F runs the stick inside of him, and now the Y would end up doing that little fade out or doing the little arrow route or whatever. Because right out of the gates, now you have the S kind of sitting between two routes. So if he stays there, take your pick. If he jumps one side or the other, you have the other one open there.
Todd, do you call it that? Do you call it that way, or is that something that they have to figure out when they get up to the line?
We'll call it normal, where it's the Y stick first. But if we see where our quarterback's kind of struggling with it one way or the other, we will change it, and we will call, I just say trips right and left instead of early and late. But I would say trips right F stick, and then the Y knows he's got the arrow or the quick fade out. Just kind of puts that guy right in the middle of two routes instead of being able to kind of go to his left and squash two of them and make it kind of cloudy for the quarterback. It made it easier on our quarterback anyway at the JV and varsity level.
Yeah, I like it. And the Saints actually do it that way when I was looking at their stick. I mean, you see that.
Yeah, we're not that good.
But you see both variations quite a bit. I chose this because I found Mackie, and he had this on initially, and I like it. But yeah, I think it could definitely be successful either way. No
Yeah,
doubt.
I'm like you. My whole offense started with Mackey. Everything I did is exactly how he did it in his videos, and then just a couple tweaks here and there due to my personnel and who I had.
Yeah. Did you put F here as well? Because his video?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
You still use it?
We didn't do a whole lot of trips. Now I have pretty legit wide receivers coming up to the varsity level this year. So last year when we did dabble in it, I had the Y inside, but my F I think is a tougher matchup all the way inside than my Y would be. So I'm putting my F inside for good this year or next season.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, let us know. I mean, I'd love to be able to compare the two and make a decision either way. I just, this is just the way I learned it. But either way, I was even considering stacking this Y and F like stacked on top of each other, just for a different look. But I'll probably just be chicken and keep doing the same thing. But
that's how I am. I have a lot of great ideas in my head. I do about 2% of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, man, that was gonna be my question, man. Did anybody in here run these quick game variations out of the trips, but all three of the receivers stacked up behind each other?
All three? I've seen the middle two guys stacked in a couple different clips, college-wise. I've seen that. I mean, I've seen the three stacked like that, and I guess I don't know if they were learning these concepts.
Yeah,
I
so
see it, but you can't find a lot of people that does it.
Yeah.
I actually run what he just said. I basically call it stacks. I run it out of trips, or I actually run it out of quads, and I really run it based off of a screen game. I just quick quarterback catches it, throws it to the last receiver. First three receivers run upfield to block, and every time I ran it this year, we scored a touchdown. So it's effective, but once the defense catches on, your quarterback has to kind of be smart about it.
Well, I kind of figured if you get into that formation like that and run these concepts out of it, I figured they'll be even more confused than what they will probably be with you running it out of a regular trips formation. Because I mean, I'm gonna assume that not a lot of middle schools spend a lot of time on how to stop the pass, especially when you from the area where I'm at. So, we see a lot of that 6-2 stuff. So they ain't spending a lot of time on that. They spending a lot of time on how to stop you up the middle or whatever.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of interesting.
I'd be pissed if they came out in that against me.
See, the reason I asked is because I'm actually going to add this to what we doing this season for that various reason, because it's just going to confuse the corner and everybody. They're not going to know what to do. Somebody should be running wide open every time we get in this formation.
It's funny you said that, because just like Coach Matt has it on the screen, we run it with trips to the right, and I call it levels, because what happens is the first receiver, the Y, he runs a 5 and in, the R, he runs a 5 and out, and that T, the last receiver, he runs a fly straight up the seam. And it's powerful because that fly is open every time. Or if the fly is not open, the in or the out is open.
It's because they had that one safety in the middle, and he'll get confused. He'll see everybody else up front will be in run commit, and now he back down, he got a pick, and normally he gonna jump down to see the first thing that cross his face.
Yeah.
And by that time, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I'd love to see you guys run that. I'm too chicken, but that's cool. I think it would be fun. And just one note, Jacob Morris, great wealth of information. He just mentioned to check out Andrew Cloverdale's stick. He says he's very detailed about splits. That's something I feel like people that have more experience than me get to that point where they can focus on those little things like that. And as all of us know, that's the little things that win big games, right? So I'll check out Andrew Cloverdale for sure, because little nuances like that, just little tweaks like that is really like what I'm trying to work on this year. Like I was saying, I got to just do stuff to make this outside linebacker declare.
So Matt, to that point about the splits, me being a defensive guy, this is George. In reality, formations is not really what troubles defense. It's more so than those alignments with those receivers. You know, I've been at the high school and middle school level. You know, you got teams that probably play some combo palms or read coverages and stuff like that. The further those alignments are apart, the less that they're able to do those things. So you start to get, they're going to have to break those tendencies and get in man-to-man situations based on splits. I'm not opposed to playing teams that like to run stack because I think those stack formations sometimes can be a little bit limited in what you can do, especially if you can get up there and press the first man on line of scrimmage. It kind of bundles up a lot of stuff for the other guys coming out. So you try to pressure those sides. But those receiver alignments, man, are the most dangerous things in football because those are the details that a lot of people don't really spend a lot of time on because that distance between that safety having to help a guy that's maybe 3 to 4 yards outside the hash as opposed to 5 to 6 yards outside the hash. Those are those split seconds that those windows are a little bit wider for those quarterbacks. So that scares me a lot more when I see I know I'm going against somebody that's a really, really good receiver, offensive coach, vice versa, different things like that when I start to see variations in splits because that's some next level stuff right there.
Yeah, and that was my first reaction to this in my mind is like, how does my quarterback read it, right? Like, how long is it going to take my quarterback to know who to throw to? And that would be my only concern about this. So, yeah, I mean, the way that we run it, I feel like it can at least try to get him going quicker. And if you look at our film, most of the time these guys are kind of bunched together a little bit closer, and this guy is way out there. So that's how we've kind of it's evolved for us versus a typical where it's like
what he said was based on the splits of receivers. So I did do having held up at the line.
I'm sorry guys, I can't understand Randy. I don't know if it's just me or if it's just his connection, but I couldn't hear Randy. I'm sorry, man. I couldn't understand what you were saying.
Put it in the chat, Randy.
Back. Yeah, throw it in the chat. We'll get going. I want to be conscious of time, guys. We're 45 minutes in. I know these conversations are great. I could talk freaking quick game. I can talk pre-snap quick game all night. But I do, my goal of this entire thing, guys, is not to get youth football coach famous. Personally, I want to make sure that everyone understands that there are a lot of really cool options to running air raid at this level, that teams are doing it successfully. And so my goal kind of from here on out is to find coaches that run the air raid, that do it at this level, that have done it at this level successfully, just to reinforce, number one, reinforce that it can be done, that these kids can do it. And then number two, give you guys information and share the knowledge. Because so Mike Hardwick, I wanted to bring Mike Hardwick on first because Mike is a wealth of knowledge. He's been running air raid at this level for a decade. Which might be the longest that I've heard at the middle school level it being done. And so I wanted to give Mike a little bit of a platform here to just show what he's been doing. I've seen a lot of his clips, and it is absolutely, he's absolutely been successful. And we've, chatted briefly about his philosophy and the things that he holds dear and that he coaches up to his players year after year. And I think there's a lot of synergy there between what I put out there, and I think a lot of guys would get a lot out of it. So, Mike, if you want to take control and kind of just let everyone know what you do, how you run your quick game, and maybe start off with a little bit about yourself, just so everyone can get to know you a little bit.
Yes, my name is Mike Hardwick. I'm the director of football for 7th and 8th grade at Oxford Middle School in Oxford, Mississippi. We play in the largest classification. We're the smallest school in there. Our high school, I think the last 7 years have been in the state championship game 4 times. We won it this past year. You know, because we live in a university town with Ole Miss, we kind of stumbled on the air raid just to try to get, like you guys, try to get numbers out. It was declining. We tried to make it fun. We're in a university town. I think one of the biggest things you got to try to do is find your identity. You know, we're in Mississippi. You know, hard nosed football. You know, deep South. But that's not that's not our community. You know, we're a college town. You know, we kind of think of ourselves as a little smarter than the average bear. So we kind of had to find our identity. We have a great track program. We've won the state track for I think 9 times since 2000. We've lost one middle school meet, and I do that in 12 years. So we have a lot of fast, wiry kind of guys. We can't line up and run the eye and run over you. We're just not hard guys. We're not, big guys. So we kind of start playing around with the air raid. And I was fortunate enough to meet a guy that came and coached with us for a while that had coached in Alabama. And his son was playing at Ole Miss. He had retired, and he was just teaching teaching social studies. I found him. He'd been in the state championship game in Alabama 8 times, and he knew Mike Leach. And so I said, teach me a little something. So, and he wasn't coaching. He was just going watching his son play. He'd go watch Ole Miss practice. So we got him out there coaching, and he taught me literally everything I know and everything that I'm going to show you tonight. And the quick game was the first thing he told me, and he said, don't do anything else. And of course, we've talked about the stick and the wide corner and all these sexy things and the meshes, and if you want to make that work, then do the quick game. And, we can talk about all that. I think we've averaged, we've been undefeated about 6 times. I mean, we do play our middle school league. The class 5A champs 3 years in a row. We play against their middle school. Our county school has won the state class down below us twice in the last 8 years. I mean, so this is the premier middle school league. So, we kind of have to know what we're doing. That's kind of why I'm here to steal some stuff, because we play teams every week that know what they're doing. So I'm just here trying to steal some stuff.
Awesome, man. That's great. We appreciate your insight, man. So, what concepts are you going to go over tonight?
Can I share? Am I on?
Yeah,
share
grab it. Grab it.
All right, let me see if I can. You want me to start with what I sent you last night?
2 different Cinco de Mayo parties, man. Jeez. Relax with that.
Let's see if I can open that. All right. Matt showed this last week. Again, I stole this from Matt. You're looking at our playbook. This is it. The columns don't read right from left. Each column is just individually. I just listed everything that we do, kind of like what he did. This is our offense. The first column is all of our formations. Here's where it's interesting. Here's our quick game, and this is what Mike Leach and Hal Mummy came up with. If you notice over here, just our read game, we've got the mesh and the bend, which is what Coach called the Y cross, and the stick. I don't have any of that listed as a quick game, and I'll explain why. But these are our basic. We have, about 4 or 5 basic quick game routes. A couple of guys this week that responded to Matt's stuff listed, well, I run the stick and the bubble. See, we have a bubble. We have bubble as the bubble game for us. We run bubbles to every receiver. The key screens to the inside receivers, the now screens to outside the receivers. We got the R screen, which we call Vegas, and we got a tunnel screen, which we call Rebel. So a bubble game for us is a bubble game. It's a separate thing, and we drill it and teach it like that. And then we have our concepts. We have our and y'all were talking about, well, do y'all do 2-step drops, 3-step drops? What do we do? Well, those were concepts. And for us, and again, I have a bad habit of acting like what we do is what you're supposed to do it. So please forgive me. I'm just explaining to you what we do and why we do it.
Yes, sir.
And I watch a match Y cross, and we run the same thing, but we run it a little differently. We would call that, the way he runs it, we call that a read game, because it's a concept route. He's doing the Y stick on one side and other things on the other side. Anyway, that's our whole running game. We got about 4 running plays, and those are all our line calls. I mean, that's our whole offense. This is what we practice 7th and 8th grade every day.
Love it. Nice and simple.
Any questions? We can move on unless anybody has any questions.
I got one question.
All right, if I can minimize it. All right. What you got?
When you call, and you're probably going to get to this, but I'm just curious of calling your quick screens, your bubble screens. Your key screens. You literally say like key 1 for the 1 receiver, key 2 for the 2 receiver, key 3. Is that how you call it?
You're asking me for my signals now.
Hey, wait till I get into your league, then you can stop. You can stonewall me.
Piano keys, key screen. I'm playing the keys.
Key 1.
Key one is the inside receiver. If we're in trips, and that's probably your question.
Yep.
The key screen is just for the inside receiver. So the key screen would always be for the inside receiver out of doubles.
Got it.
So how do you do trips? Okay, that's the 2 receiver. 2 keys is the second receiver. If I just did 1 key out of trips, then the number 1 receiver, which for us would be the inside most receiver. So if I'm in trips right, my inside most receiver would run. If I did this, he knows he's running the key screen. If I did this, the number 2 receiver knows he's running the key screen.
Love it.
That's how we do it. Easy as that. We call that, we're gone.
Awesome. Love it. Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your presentation before you got started. I'm just curious.
You wanted to steal my signals.
Hey, I need some signals for that. You just yell it out there, Larry or Roger. But I wanted to be able to define if I wanted to go to the 2
this made me think of everything that we do. When Matt said, let's talk about the key screen, and I've been bugging him to do a Zoom, just me and him, to talk about it, because we do a lot of different stuff. We come about it a little differently. We do the hitch and the all go, but we do it differently. But I love what he's doing, and I'm going to steal it. Here's our basic quick game plays. The all stop, which is, y'all call it the hitch, the curl flat route, the speed out, the slant hitch. We call it the hide, which you would call the wide corner, and the all go. And these are derivatives off that. Here's for us is what a quick game is. If you want to know, so everybody's want to know what a quick game. This is how it was taught to me. It has to be a 1-step drop. If it's more than a 1-step drop, it's not a quick game. Because you're right. And along with that, all plays begin with an all go. All plays look the same. You're going downfield. So that's for us. We teach the stick. We don't necessarily go downfield. So that throws the stick out. That throws the bubble out. For us, I'm not trying to tell you. That's just.
No. I want people to know different variations of this.
For us, that's why we throw that out. If any of that makes sense. All plays are 1 read, or as Coach Mackey says, if then. If they do this, then we're going to do this. I did have a little 7th grade quarterback this year. We'll show a clip here, and I guess in a few minutes, and he goes, "Hey, Coach, if he's not open, what do you do?" And I go, well, "Then you throw it 2 yards in front of him and make him bounce it one time in the receiver's chest, or you get to the line of scrimmage." That's what we do. And we'll drill that every now and then when we do 7-on-7. I'll go up to him, and he knows I'm coming, and he'll go, "Coach, I'm fixing to throw a touchdown." I said, "Okay, throw a touchdown this time, but next time you throw it 2 yards in front of the receiver." So we're going to practice that.
Hey, Mike, hold on 1 sec.
All right.
I'm just going to hijack 2 more seconds. Mike, you said it was okay to share this, right?
Absolutely.
I see people taking notes, and I just want to let everyone know that we're gonna send this out.
You have my permission to post it if you think it has any value.
Oh yeah, I think everyone loves this stuff. So whether you use it or not, great. But Mike is more than happy to send it out, unless you know some people in his league, then keep it private. But you guys, if you just want to take notes, if you want, I'm just saying, if you want to just sit back and consume it, you will get a copy of this later.
And on that, one reason why I wanted to be a part of this, after talking an email with Matt and looking into stuff a little bit, and that coach I told you that taught me that when people around here would call, and he'd get so mad at me and go, "You're sharing stuff and they're going to beat you." And I'm going, "Yeah, but it'll make us better." So I'm kind of like you. I'm always looking for ways to get better. And if they take it and use it against us, that's cool, because that means we'll just have to get better. So
yeah, that's all good.
Number 4, this is a big controversy. Is the way Mike Leach conceptualized the quick game, offensive line is only one line blocking, and it's big on big. We don't slide protect. We don't do any of that. We identify the bigs and block the bigs. Now, two linemen actually combo block one of the backers, and the R has the other backer. But we big on big. We pre-snap identify who the tush hogs are, the big guys, and we make sure they're blocked. And that's pretty much what
you got
we do.
5-man fronts mostly. What kind of fronts you guys see?
If you play a 5-man front against me, you're fixing to get toasted because that means you're man-to-man. I mean, that means you're weak on the back end. You don't. Right. Teams typically don't play 5-man fronts against us.
Good for you. That's great.
In the quick game, the concept's the same thing. If we run, if the stick for us, if we ran the stick as the quick game, for our rules, we'd run the stick here, and the same route would be on the other side. And that's how it's easy to teach, because all 4 receivers are doing the same thing at the same time. The defense can't switch. They can't try to say, okay, well, that's where they're trying to go. This is just their backside routes. For us, everybody's doing the same thing. It always looks the same, and we can do some diagrams and draw it up. So this just kind of the points of emphasis. This just sort of the same 3 things, just fleshed out a little bit more. So just a few more of our basic rules. I also get asked a lot about wide receivers. We talked about the tennis balls. Oh man, we have all kinds of tennis balls drills, and I'm fixing to buy a tennis ball machine. That's in my budget for this year.
You shoot tennis balls at them out of a machine?
Yeah, the tennis ball machine. You know, the tennis courts. Yeah.
Over there, like Happy Gilmore taking softballs off the chest.
Yeah. Anyway, these are all our. I got the loose and noose. We have 3 variations of that. We spend a lot of time on the all go, and like Coach said, we'll jog the all. We'll start walking the all goes and make a 5 or 6 yard throw. All go route is hard to throw accurately. And then skill, we do routes on air. We do 5 and dime, which is perfect play type thing at tempo. We work on the bubble games, pat and go. This is part of our skill, 7-on-7. And we do certain stuff inside the 20 as far as our pylons. Some of our landmarks on the pylons, if we're inside the 20, some of our stuff goes to the back of the pylons. If we're the rest of the field, our landmark is the front pylon. That's what I mean by that. And we'll do an inside the 20 drill or outside the 20 drill and work on some of that stuff, like in your Y corner.
Yeah.
And this is how we teach our quarterbacks. So all that's there for all you guys to look at. That's every passing drill we do. Some of it won't make sense to you. All this is on YouTube. Washington drill, the 2 Isosopo, I got it from here. Baylor drill, Art Briles, who actually, say what you will about him, has a lot of neat concepts and stuff about quarterback throwing drills. Get on YouTube and find them.
His offenses were ridiculous. So.
Oh yeah, he knows how to throw the ball. So
absolutely.
Anyway, those are some things that we do. What else you want me to do? We can.
That's great. I mean, whatever you got next, you want to get into chalk or film, whatever's on you.
Mike, what was your best pass this year?
Okay, we'll just jump right into it then, as this loads up.
Mike, did you hear that question?
Yes. Can everybody see this? This is a new software we just got, Just Play. It's amazing. I hate Huddle. Coach, you need to teach me how to do the Huddle editor because I can't do it.
That's all I knew. I've seen Just Play. Sounded like, from what I've seen, looks pretty cool.
It's great. Here it is.
Question came in that you're probably going to answer while you go.
My favorite. All right, I posted some stuff today on the curl, flat, and go, but not many people. Some guy did a variation. The slant out, he called it. But I didn't see anything. And this stuff, like, you don't find a lot of this stuff on YouTube as far as these routes and these combinations. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna go over the curl flat and the curl flat and go, and then anything else you guys, if I've still got time. So the curl flat. Here's the curl flat. Here's the curl flat. It looks easy. Everybody's doing the same thing on each side, but that's the concept. If we do it over here, we're doing it over there. Ours are check down. We're doing a speed out on both sides. We're doing it, and we play around with exactly what this is. And I might kind of run a slant or a stick looking thing and then go to green grass. But we do our 6 to 8 yards, and then we come back, we plant our foot, we come to green grass, and we tell our guy, you run straight to the quarterback until the ball's thrown somewhere. Just keep running until you go to green grass. If you don't find green grass, you keep running, and you'll see it in my cut-ups.
Love it. And so the progression is what? Are you just reading? What's the read on that?
It's in the thing. It's always, except for 2 routes, the progression, again, it's if then. It's a
that grass area.
You're looking for the two, you're looking at the 2 defender.
Yeah. Okay. You tell them to look. You tell them to read that defender himself. I mean,
we're looking for green. We're looking more green grass. Pre-snap, good question. Pre-snap, they're looking at the defender, but then I'm looking for green grass. So the quarterbacks, again, 7th and 8th grade, you can make it too complicated. Probably you're supposed to teach them, look at the defender. Pre-snap, and we never talk about linebackers or corners. All I'm asking them, I want to know who the 1 defender is and the 2 defender is. Okay, that's who didn't matter who they are. We just need to know where they are. Okay. So in the curl flat, if anybody wants to see it out of the trips, here, and we went over this. Another concept out of quick game for us, what does the inside receiver, the outside 2 receivers always do the quick game for us. And so for us, the inside receiver always does a slant unless we tag it. And then we would do, what do you think? Coach Matt's favorite route. We're going to do that. If we want to change it and tag it, we're going to do that. But the inside receiver is always going to run a slant to keep that safety in the middle of the field or that 2 high guy right there. Okay? And we're running our quick route stuff. So there's a look at the curl flat or the quick route against that. Any questions?
How far out does your speed out go?
A speed out. Okay, so another thing on the quick game, they have to know which foot is up and which foot is back. On the speed out, on the inside receiver, the outside foot is back because he's going to, start with his inside foot, and then on the the front foot, the first foot outside, then he's going to plan on that and go out. So basically, if your inside receiver is lined up on the tackle, basically his helmet's on the hip of the tackle, he's 2 yards off the ball. By the time he does a speed out, it's to the line of scrimmage. So you're not getting a lot of depth, but that's how we teach it. And we say, this is a sweep for us. This is a sweep. We're just throwing it out there to you before they can react.
Totally.
All right.
Yeah, I like how they're all categorized like that.
Oh, this is like, anybody see this? All right. These are this is 7th graders. I wanted to show I got a couple of clips of my 7th graders. They were pretty good. We were undefeated. Here's a speed out.
It's a scrimmage?
No, this is a game. So
7th grade.
You see the other guy. You see the other guys. Look, he's actually wide open, and we teach on the 2 defenders. See, initially that guy's out of your screen. He reacts, and he's a great athlete. He makes the tackle, but you see we're wide open, and he's a little bit too far downfield on the speed out. But look at the inside receivers. You watch the tape. It really should have gone to him. See, the inside receiver's wide open.
Some big boys.
Let me figure out how to get this off.
Your coaches are on the field?
7th grade, the coaches are on the field in the 7th grade.
Interesting. That's what threw me off.
Oh, did I throw it off? Did I throw you off?
Oh no, just when I asked if it was a scrimmage, that's why I
for us, 7th graders are on the field, 8th grade is not. So yeah, and it's a big advantage for us because we're on the field.
That's great. I mean, if they're gonna let you do it, you might as well. It's all about teaching. Yeah, they won't even let our little guys, the 8-year-olds and 7-year-olds, they started putting in hard rules against.
Really?
Like,
I mean, and that would be fine for us. I'll throw. Let's see if I can find one with our big guys. This is Lausanne School from Memphis, Tennessee. They were this year. They won the middle school 8th grade championship in the state of Tennessee. Beat Brentwood Academy. Some of you guys might have heard of Brentwood. You know, they're pretty famous in these parts. Reggie White went there. Anyway, we toasted them. So this was actually a scrimmage against them. But keep in mind, these guys won the state of Tennessee middle school, and we beat them pretty good. Anyway, so this is actually my whole second group right here against them. And I think we're going to the bottom of the screen here. I think we're going to the underneath guy. He misses it, but it's a good route.
Hey, Mike, play that back real quick. So you come up to the line, or I'm sorry, you guys huddle? Let me start there.
No, we don't huddle.
Okay, so you're signaling the play.
And we're 8th grade. Now I'm on the field because it's a scrimmage. That's me over there. I'm handsome, aren't I?
And so you're telling them which side, or how are you guys calling this?
I do call the side.
Okay.
I do call the side in 7th and 8th grade. I do call the side. Okay.
And that's before you see the defensive look. You're just saying you have an idea that you want to throw it to the right.
And you can see they're in a 4-3 cover 2, and they're way far back.
Yeah.
They're just keeping everything in front of them. But you see, they do a pretty neat thing. Look at the corner. The corner there in that cover 4, and he kind of that quarters cover. Because look what the corner does here.
Yeah,
so they're kind of like quarters coverage. So he's kind of sitting there, and the linebacker's coming out to deep flat right there. You know, which a lot of teams are starting to do against us. But our receiver sees it, comes up inside. He shoots. And if he'd have come up in there, he'd have been wide open. And this is my number 2 quarterback right here. But anyway, you can kind of see the concept.
Interesting. Cool. Awesome. All right. One question, Coach, that came in about about the system. Is it expensive? I guess I don't really know in the big scheme of things. Some people are wanting to get out of huddle. So in comparison, is it like?
I would hate to tell you, for us, it was, our high school uses it. We got it for, you wouldn't believe how cheap it was. And they're great guys.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
I'd hate to say, because I don't know, we probably got a deal because it's, because you can see here, if we go here, see, we got the high school on the same account. So we probably got a pretty good deal.
I just switched to it literally this week, and it's about $20 a month, I think is what it is, around there.
I mean, it's ridiculously cheap for what you get. And I mean, we've had this for 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
Or here's the curl, flat, and go. Here's our favorite. If you want to ask our favorite stuff, here's the favorite route. It's a wheel route. So it's a speed out. Outside receivers doing the same thing.
This drop back game, read game, as you call it.
It's still the same thing. It's still it's still one step.
Quick.
Still quick. Here the difference is, instead of reading the 2 defender, this is the one of the 2 routes that we read who? We're going to read the number 1 defender. Because we're running this because we think we found something. We think we can change it.
Against that last look you saw, that's where you want to do this. Find
exactly right. And you're fixing to see it. Let's see if I can find it.
Find that hole shot. Is it a line drive hole shot? I guess it just depends. Huh?
Let's see if I can find it.
Coach, can I ask you about how you teach the numbering system on the defenders?
Like, what do you mean? All we're interested in is the number 1 defender is, the sideline. Who is the 1 defender? Which is, this cornerback, and the 2 defenders wherever he lines up. The 1 did that answer your question?
Yeah. So It's outside in. 1, 2.
Correct.
Cool. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's a lot simpler than trying to go inside out.
And for 7th and 8th grade, I mean, I think that worked. And this is 7th grade. Again, this is 7th grade. Because 7th grade can do this stuff. We've reduced it a little bit. Yeah, I'm back there behind everything. They're looking at me.
Straight back.
The line blocking is not too good here. And here we go.
Nice. Yeah, he stepped up in it, though. That's good.
Yeah, I like your quarterback. He's stuck in there.
He's pretty good for a little 7th grader. He's not bad. Yeah, these guys are pretty good. We're pretty good skill guys. And they're toast. And I think they're playing a 4-3 too. They're playing a 4-3. We get that a lot.
Yeah, they bit up on that.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome. I love it.
Show 1 or 2 more.
Hey, Mike, this is George.
Hey, man.
Hey, man, that's some great stuff right there. I know we communicated on the phone and stuff, but I mean, I know you asked about it, and I told you I didn't have no video, but man, that concept right there is very similar to the one that I was drawing up that day. The only thing is, instead of that wheel, you just got a mandatory outside release on that fade with number 1, getting that same speed out, but then you run that backside too shallow. Man, it opens up, man. You're looking at it right there the way you're running it, man. So it's
Here's our 8th grade.
There we go. That looks smooth. There we go.
Their linebackers coming. We pick that guy up. Our back picks him up, and here we go. Look at the inside receiver. You go down here. Look at the inside receiver right here. Inside receiver is wide open.
Running free.
That probably should have been the read right there. Is that inside receiver coming underneath? And if you notice the outside on the top side of the screen, look at the guy on the top side. They're doing the same route. They're doing the same route. Here he goes.
Nice. Beautiful, man.
And I'll show you one more.
All right.
If that's all right.
Yeah, of course. We got also want to be conscious of time. You got one more guy that wants to present for sure that I think we can all get a lot out of coming up, and then.
Hey, Coach, this is Brack again. Could you
Our
show
equivalent? I know Coach talked about it last time. His Y corner. We call it this right here. We call it the all hide, and it's a great. And Coach is right. It's an unstoppable route. It's part of our quick game route. And here's the diagram. Four yards. If you're outside the 20, you go to the front of the pylon. If we're inside the 20, you go to the back of the pylon. And this is and they're executing a now screen. That's our now screen. 2 yards downfield, come back 45 degrees to the line of scrimmage and stop. That's our now screen on the bubble screen. So we do incorporate that into, and he's live. Again, this is the other route that we read, the one defender. So we're reading the one defender here. So if he takes, we're going to run this after we've run the bubble a couple of times. And if that cornerback squats or takes the bait, then we're throwing it up. And both receivers are doing the same thing, so the safety can't cheat to the concept side.
Love it.
Did Salas do that up? Salas do that up one time.
Mr. Matt, any questions? Is this sort of similar? How deep do you do your cut?
Yeah, we played with it. We actually even moved the Y off the ball. We moved them on the ball. We ended up doing on the ball 4 steps, and then that's when he would go. Yeah, can everyone hear? Yeah. We did 4 steps, then he break to the pylon, whichever pylon. Cool, man. Any other questions for Coach Mike? I'm gonna put his document that he shared on that share
That's
file.
great. See, we do the now screen. He should have probably thrown the now screen.
I mean, it's basically like Smash, right? Essentially.
Now on this, they had the too high safety look. These guys are in a stack. They're in a little different. These guys are in a stack. Okay, they just got their linebackers coming, but they've got three guys. There's their three guys. There's their stack. There's their outside backers. Corner. So they've got, and I think they've dropped one guy off, and they got guy deep. So this corner backed off. So he kind of rounded off, and we teach that. You know, he rounded off to the sideline. He rounded off that hide route.
Yeah. Yeah, that number one defender quickly decides. I like that. Very cool, Mike. Any questions for Mike before we move on? I really appreciate you sharing that, Mike. That was really, really great, man.
That's a good presentation, Mike. I'm gonna still take you up. I'm gonna still take you up on that offer to take a couple of players from you, man.
That group, they won the championship. They were they some pretty good skill guys. A couple of those guys are going to start when they're sophomores. They're already penciled in. So yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad.
And so I will post your document to the shared file tab on the website. But Mike and I are going to do a little bit longer of just a one-on-one session. We'll put out a separate video so we can go into more than just the one or two plays. But I knew you guys would get quite a bit when he showed me this stuff. I think it's awesome.
Any questions? Anything you want to ask or challenge me? I'm here to learn too. That's just kind of what we do and how we teach it and how we run it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, feel free to reach out. Mike's all over the Facebook Air Raid, Middle School Air Raid group too. So if you guys have any questions for Mike, you can find him talking some Mississippi ball out there. Otherwise, you'll see me and Mike will do a separate video so we can get a little bit more in depth. But thanks a ton, Mike. David Hunter, are you still raring to go tonight?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Perfect. All right, cool. So I think Mike, if you will, unshare, then he can grab the ball and.
Hey, Mike, can you put your contact information in the chat?
Yes, sir. We'll do.
That's a great Joe Salas. How's it going, Coach?
Yeah, that's that voice we know and love from YouTube and playing them through the truck while we're driving.
Exactly, amongst other things.
Cool
German
first
Shepherd,
off,
by the way, man.
I want to say, thanks. Yeah, we just got hit by a tornado in Chattanooga. That's a friend of ours, and so we're taking care of him right now. And he's a freaking angel. Like my whole, so it's crazy here tonight. My wife decided that tonight would be the first time to have a 4-year-old sleepover. So if I randomly have to just dip out of here, it's because they're literally next door, jumping on the bed, and I'm gonna have to go like full blown lay the law down and make my kids never have friends again. But let's stick to football. First, I want to say I really actually like that, Mike. I'm actually gonna kind of adapt that. I coach youth football, so it's 4th and 5th graders, 5th and 6th graders, and I'm actually about to, after this year, drop all the way down and start 5 and 6U. Convince myself that we're gonna keep the same coaches. We both have 4-year-olds, and we're gonna run air raid from basically 5U up. Everybody thinks we're hilarious because we say that, but we'll just start with counter and basic run plays and throw the bubble and go in trips and throw a 5 yards pass and go 3-on-1.
Yeah. Well, David, I definitely, I've said this to you, but I think, a couple of us guys that are in the youth world, even less, I think we could put together something similar to what we just did for middle school for that, just so they know that they can, just like you're doing, not everything, they can't all throw at that age, but you can build on things and they can start to learn taking the gift route to get the easy money. They can learn little things like that. And I think I'd love to just kind of talk with you a little bit about that as we get better. But Cool, man. Well, take it
I
away.
100% agree. Just real fast. I don't know about you, but I know when I was 7, I could throw the ball 10 yards.
Yeah.
And I've watched all these kids get there before practice. And we have a rule in our league. If you show up to practice, you better have your shoulder pads and helmet on if it's 15 minutes before practice. So you can play. And they'll go out there, and I'll watch little kids chuck that ball. And I don't know what they call it now. What we called it when I was a kid, we can't say. But they'll throw the ball up in the air. Someone will catch it, and 40 kids try to tackle them. But I watch those kids throw it, And so I believe in this. I believe that this is the future of football. I believe, no disrespect, there's a couple guys on here that run my least favorite offense in the world, the wing T, but they've watched them show me the buck sweep RPO last week, and I literally was like, "Ooh, that's kind of nice. I could do that out of green and maybe make something work here because I got 2 beasts at guard." But then I was like, "Wait a minute, keep it simple. Don't add nothing just because it's flashy. Get rid of that crap."
So hard.
But
so hard.
A lot of people that's what they believe. They believe with young kids, we've got to run the ball, control the clock, And then I get out there, and I'm like, throw the ball. Like why are we not throwing the ball? There's one guy guarding 2. Like, this is basketball. Like, to me, it's as a high school basketball coach. I saw Coach Mackey do this about 4 years ago when my youngest was at the hospital being born, and I was like, oh man, here it is. Like, I didn't know Mike Leach and all this other stuff. I was just like, this is it. Like, this is what I believe can happen, and here's people running it. Like, holy smokes, kind of the same thing you had.
Light bulb.
So that's my thing. What I'm going to show you here is my 4th and 5th grade team from last year. They were 9 and 10. We're in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We had some blessings. Like, our wide receiver is one of the fastest kids in the state. He runs AAU track. I think he's like the fastest kid 10-year-old in Tennessee and like number 8 in the nation in the 100. He can fly. So there's a lot of times where I don't care what I call it. I call 4 verts, and you'll hear me just yell Day Day, Day Day, Day Day. And if he doesn't take a shot to Day Day, I'll put my son the center at quarterback. He better just chuck it and let Day Day go get it.
Nice.
But we run it the same way. You can see my screen. I don't have all the fancy stuff, so I did stuff in Google Slide, and I use Google Classroom to try to teach our kids. I don't have a budget. Well, if you ask my wife, I have a budget, but I don't have a budget. So inside is quick game, and we teach a 3-step hitch. When I first started this year with them, they just could not get, if there's no one over past 7 yards, right? If there's no one there, run 3 steps, turn around, catch the ball.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. And then finally I said, okay, you know what, guys? If there's no one over you, immediately turn around and look for the ball. And I was like, we'll take 4 yards. I don't care. My guys, like if you catch the ball, literally catch the ball and fall forward, we'll get 3 yards. Outside release on the outside, automatic go. We're really just playing this game, and I'm looking for the swing route if you feel like they're all taking off running. We saw a 4-4 single high 90% of the time.
At the 5th grade level?
Yeah. I saw this at 8. I see this at the 8U level too, though. I never saw 5 threes once I showed someone that I could throw the ball. If they stay in a 5-3, just go ahead and mark it, mercy rule it, and let's go home.
Yeah.
We're going to score. It'll be 28-0 in 4 plays. Not really. That's kind of a little ambitious, but that's how us air raid.
It's air raid chat, man. You could talk that.
So we see this. They shade out here. This is what it looks like. 90% of the time, we'll throw the ball short. They'll get mad, and they'll say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to blitz here and here, and we're just going to see if your guy will keep throwing it. And that's when I tell my guy, we do pat and go probably too much. We probably spend 15 to 20 minutes every practice, and we get 2 practices a week. My defensive coach hates me. He's one of my best friends, but I'm like, run a 4-4 and don't blitz anybody. They don't need to practice that. Just be sound.
Agree.
And so you'll see we will take some short shots, and we'll show video here in a minute of this. But most of the time what we get is I tell him 3-step drop. If we see the blitz coming, if there's no blitz, 1 step, let it go. If they're press man and you know it's a weak guy that we've addressed on one of our better athletes, you catch the ball and you throw it 10 to 15 yards down the field. If they don't go get it, I'll rip their butt. And we practice that, outside release. We do the whole, I teach the hands, PJ Fleck has a video on it. It's freaking amazing. I only teach one move. You try to grab a wrist and do that Odell Beckham stuff, you'll be sitting beside me and wonder why you can't get off the line. We do windshield wipers, inside out, and go. That's it. You do something besides windshield wipers, you're coming out of the game. You want to wear gloves, and you can be, I'm from South Atlanta, so we can be as cute and beautiful as we want. I look good, play good, but don't get cute when it comes to making moves. I teach that. My running back's the same thing. You get one move, you go. Receivers, you make one move, you go. And that. So here's a couple. The other thing I'm going to show is this is I call it box instead of diamond. So I yell box, 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 box. They know quads to the right side of the field. We're literally reading the safety. And all this is these three guys block 1, 2. If the safety cheats over here, we're literally throwing to our tight end right here. This is our 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 goal line. We practice this play. It's very, what do you say, low. There's not a lot of investment in it because it's just a throw we make all the time. And then this right
goal
here.
Line.
But I've run this when I need it. So like we were playing the City of Atlanta All-Stars in a game, and it was 13-14, and they were way better than we shouldn't even be on the field with them. And we called this play and got tackled, and they called the game for lightning. But I ran this play on the 30, and this guy whose dad played O-line at Ole Miss, he can't run maybe but like a 7.2. And you see him just rumbling, stumbling for 30 yards. And finally they catch him. And I'm like, man, if that guy could run, we'd have won that game.
Awesome. I like that.
So the other thing we do here is we call a box. And then if they do this, which sometimes they do, if they're coached well, we're going to get in this guy's face. We're going to put a guy here. We're going to, shade. And we're going to, obviously, we don't need this guy over here. And they'll bring basically 4 people out here is what I say. That's when we'll do that. Now, once they start calling it, and you'll see good defensive guys basically tell this guy, you just man up on this guy right here and beat the snot out of him and get through, and they start trying to jump this route, usually with this guy, or they know this play. You'll hear them. When I yell box, I'll hear the coach on the sideline start saying, tight end, take this, take tight end, and I'll know, and that's when I yell fox, and it's just this. He goes, and these two guys are very lazy, almost showing like they're blocking. This guy's going to run in and fill this hole here, and his job basically is to throw a basketball screen or just run straight into the guy. But whatever you do, don't put his hands out. And he shows a regular, and this is a touchdown almost every time because this guy is no longer trying to stop him. He's trying to get through here to jump this route now. So he's going there. The other thing I do on this play that some people like, some people don't like, depending on your coaching style. I tell these 3 guys, if there's ever a tackle I've never done this, but this is what I tell them. If we ever get tackled for a loss on this play, I'm calling a timeout, and y'all are going to run to the goal line and run back. And when your parents come and ask why, I'm going to tell them because you didn't block. And I said, we got it on film, and I'll put it on YouTube for everyone to see if you want to ask me questions. I've never had that happen. Plus, I would never actually do that. But, that I want them to understand blocking is that serious on this play. But I've only had we ran the Fox probably 4 times, and it all ended up being pretty good. So I'm going to start here. This is us playing McEachern. They're from Cobb County. They won the Cobb County League. And so we were playing against them. So this is I have my best friend. He played at Ole Miss, offensive lineman, much like you, Matt. Man, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. So the first series, I came out and run the ball. We went 3 and out. Second series, and the rest of the game, we went double twins is what I call it. And I call it, it's black on the wristband. It's all Verts. So here's the first time. Now, these are all 5th graders and 4th graders. So right now, this guy, this should be him settling up right here, and he should just take this easy money. I I don't remember exactly what's going to happen. You can see here, up, this is not 5, and this guy's up. So their running goes. So he throws it. He shouldn't have jumped, and he probably would have been gone.
Awesome. Oh, he's gone anyway.
The outside guy is a throw that I just don't think he could have made right there. That's how we practice pat and go. He shouldn't have. That was Day, so that's his favorite receiver. So that's where he went to the wrong side. He probably should have came over here, but I always
Jordan
tell
rules.
him,
Day rules.
yeah, you know, like his favorite quote to me is, "Hey, coach, when you're not sure, call players, not plays." I'm like, okay, Nick Saban, you watched one ESPN commercial, and now you think you know how to tell me what to do. Although it is true.
Hey, man. Got the horses.
To jump forward to the next play, man, this thing keeps popping down here. I'm trying to jump screens for it real fast. I get to go away here. Oh, here we go.
Hey, Coach, while that's loaded, man, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Out of that heavy formation, man, when you had a tight end run straight down the field, I noticed you said you run it at the goal line. But when you run it at the goal line, you run it as such a like a pop pass or something like that, or you.
It's always a pop pass. I only want 2 yards out of it, and my tight end to fall. He's like 5'8", about 185, and so I just want him to catch it and fall down.
So what's unlimited weight where you are?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
thing.
We can. Yeah, no. I mean, there's some people in our league that just hand it to their guard and let them run through the A gap.
Yeah, we have weight limit.
People with the quarterback run, man, that play would be crazy because if you get in there, you just quarterback run and dump it over to a faster guy, man, that's practically a touchdown every time.
Yeah, if you have a running back that can run, it works. I mean, quarterback that can run. This kid can't. He's 130, probably about 5'3". He actually is playing up. He's always been a tight end, so he's a first-year quarterback. His dad actually had to go work in an oil field, so his mom brought him to me and said, "Will you let him try out for quarterback?" His dad wants him to be a tight end like him, and he was in a wing T system, and I said, "Sure, I'll let him try. I don't care." And we ran pat and go, and I saw that ball, and I was like, "All right, son, come spend some time with me." And so I'm trying to kind of just let this play through. These refs do this to us. I don't know about you. I'm like, come on, we done called the play. We're NASCAR double twins again. Why are you taking so long to put the ball down? Come on.
Yeah.
And so this is the very next play. You can kind of see they're playing us up single high. And now he takes the, hey, should have did that last time. Now everybody gets mad about this, and this is what I want to point out right here. He falls down. We're going to come up here. That was a 4-yard gain. And everyone's like, man, you didn't coach, come on, you're killing me. It's 2nd and 6.
Right. If that was a dive, people will be more than happy.
This guy should have caught that ball. I got onto him for that. He didn't outside release, and that's why he had to turn out to catch that ball. There it is, the outside guy. All right, so we're on the 11 here. I think I'm about to go diamond. And so this is just we're just running 4 verts. I call it NASCAR. They go left every time. It means run the same play again. Everybody uses it.
Love it.
Okay, so I'm yelling butt here. I don't know if y'all can hear my audio. I tell him to kind of do a skinny post here because number 1's cheating over. And number 1 was their safety. He was taking off trying to guess which side we were throwing the ball to, abandoning the middle immediately. Here we went trips. We're still running the same thing, except when I go trips, I generally want this guy just to always run a bubble because they were blitzing in what we knew. And see, they came bad blocking, but that's our track star, and he's mad. So it's right here. I'm going to go diamond, I believe, or box. And all right, so here we are. Here's the tight end. So you see they've shifted over, safety splitting the difference. Boom. He outside this linebacker, I don't know where this kid came from, how he knew what we were about to do because we had never played them unless their coaches found tape on us. So I just ran NASCAR again, and he throws it there. and he just runs in because the numbers say throw it there. If the safety goes over and we still have 2-on-4 because we don't count the safety, it's a throw. This was the extra point, and this is where we don't block. So see, they're now playing up. Normally I'd call Fox there, but we can't. And our guys just kind of did the Olay block.
I really like that box.
It's something that's easy to do without investing a ton. So here we go. It's first down. We're going to go box again. And then we actually sub in a lineman for a receiver to get that. Our tight end's normally our tackle. Now that's a good block. And that makes that whole play. This little kid actually got a lot more playing time because of how he was blocking. He was our backup wide receiver, which is like, and watch, he'll engage and he don't come off.
Nice.
I'll try and jump ahead real fast. Oh, that was the halftime. So that's that kid. This is the kid that just threw that block. And so he threw the block. So I told him, throw him the ball. I didn't care if he wasn't open. I knew we were going to half. I didn't know what to do. So we'll just watch that real fast. And so
nice.
He thought he was about to score and got caught. That would have been his first touchdown. And he slowed up. This is I'll just tell you this just for fun. This is my little fourth grader who is a freaking beast, but he's just so small. And this kid doesn't really even get on the field enough because he's so little. And you can see our linemen freaking out here. And they're all upset because he got caught. So I want to jump ahead with that for one other thing real fast, and we'll go to something else here. We're about to basically doing the same thing. So when I run, can I get this to show me? I don't use Zoom where I normally share my screen. Anyways, I normally have a hand signal. So if I'm calling all this and I want to check with me, I'll take my hand by my hip and I just start kind of telling them, I want you to run it. And I'm just throwing that. And that lets him know to hand it off to the running back because they're playing. And so what you'll see right here on this play is my quarterback's going to pat his side because he decides where he wants him to run it. And he pats that, and it lets him know, hey, run it up and run it. Just run it right up the middle. And it's just sometimes we'll adjust when they abandon everything, and I want him just, run it.
Is he saying something to the lineman, or they're just blocking?
No, he says nothing to the lineman.
It's like a draw, basically.
Basically, it's like a draw, except you don't have any other option. Just give it to him and tell him to go find the hole and go. Now, if it was up to me, I'd have that and I'd have counter, and that's all I need for run plays. Real fast, I think what I want to show here, he should have ran in. That was all him on his own. They called a false start on us. I'm not sure who did it, but somebody did. We go back. He guessed. Here's the next play I want to show. This is that little kid that kicked it. He actually realizes nobody's here, turns around, and actually caught a touchdown. He actually ran stick kind of how you would want him to. He does it again, and we should have thrown that. But coach decided to try to get this kid a run, and coach got in the way of just letting the quarterback do what the quarterback wants to do. Real fast, I just want to show one more clip of here's what it looks like against a lot of other defense. This is the Middle Tennessee Bulldogs or some all-star team. This is in Gatlinburg at Rocky Top. And so you see he's trying to fight through. Butt's actually running. So this guy's about to pick him up. And he's gone.
Nice.
And that happened more times than not for us, because if they don't send more than 2 people over there, we scored a lot on that play. And eventually that safety has to come over, and that's what we want. The safety comes over, we want to hit the tight end. We want to save that and use that to hit the tight end. That's really it. Our quick game, I probably run 4 verts 80% of the time. It's what I spend the most time on. I love stick. But we run stick, my quarterback gets, has to start making some decisions on the swing or staying. These things can get a little muddy. I just like spreading the field out and saying, take the grass. If it's there, just throw it to the guy. Let him be an athlete and go. If it's not, take a shot. And so I've had I've always had a quarterback that could at least throw that route. Even at 8U, my quarterback could throw that 10 yards to the slot receivers over the top, and that was really all we needed, except for the one team that wanted to run a double high safety on us, which actually really hurt me because I'd never expected to see that at 8U. So that was really all I wanted to show. If I have any questions, I can kind of address them.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you showing that. Any questions, please take yourself off mute or put it in the chat. I really like that box, man. I just spent this week talking on the Facebook page about how I don't run anything different in the red zone or on the goal line because I want to run my best plays that I'm best at when the money's on the line. But I don't know, that box at the 5-yard line, I don't know. I
well,
think
here we did it for a 2-point conversion, and see, the safety doesn't know where to go now, and we just like, okay.
Yeah, just make a quick decision and go. I really, dude, I don't know. I like it a lot. Any questions come in? Let's see on the chat. Nope, no questions on the chat. Will you put your, I don't know if you're open to people reaching out to you, but if you want to put your email in the chat in case anybody has any questions for you. But David, honestly, man, we need to talk because I think we could definitely customize some stuff for the lower two. We have 3rd and 4th grade, 4th and 5th grade, and then the 2 middle schools. We have basically 4 levels where we are. I think we could make something for that lower, what we call youth versus middle school.
So this is I kind of have the same passion as all you guys, but I'm over here in Chattanooga in my little bucket and trying to just convince guys to throw the ball. So I'm like you and some of Joe and these high school guys on the youth level. We have a chat town. All the Chattanooga coaches talk trash to each other, and I'm the one in there and being like, hey, here's how to run the air raid. Here's my whole playbook. I'm going to the worst team in the league next year, so you should be able to stop me, but I'm still going to prove that we can do this. And
David,
they're like,
could you post some of this on the Facebook page as well?
Yeah.
Some of these put-ups and stuff on your play. That'd be good. Thanks.
All right. Well, we got about 15 minutes left, fellas. I appreciate you guys all hanging in. We've been on almost 2 hours, so this is great. And I could probably talk ball all night, to be quite honest. But we got 15 minutes before I got to go. Anything, just throwing it out there for any questions, anything at all that we want to talk about.
Is David going to put his email in the chat?
Now that you ask, he probably will. He didn't do it for me, but he'll do it for Coach Salas.
Thanks,
hey,
man.
Coach, do you mind if I share a different way of running what Coach is calling box? We call it diamond.
Yeah, please.
I got it here. I was talking to somebody, it might have been Mike on the Facebook group, and we're talking about empty. And this is what we run. It's one play, it's one formation, but it is what it is. So we have X out here in space, and it's the same rules. He runs a slant, a go, or a quick hitch. And then on the diamond side, it's always a now screen. It's always a screen. And what we end up doing is, I'm going to show, I think I got some clips here. What we end up doing is showing.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, in the background. Yeah, you see him?
Yeah, he's sitting on your head.
So depending on what we see, all right, no, let me start with this. Hang on, give me a second. I got a little bit nervous. All right, so here we go. Give me a second. Here we go. Can you guys see that?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's good.
All right, so we started off in diamond, and what we teach is kind of like what he was saying is like we've got the numbers out here. We've got them beat 4-1, maybe 4-2. So it's always a win if they're going to line up that way. So, and this is a 6th grade quarterback, and where I coach, we're facing that problem of we're not getting as many kids out. So we got to use 6th, 7th, and 8th graders on our team. So this is a 6th grader throwing it out to 7th grader. Catch, and then he runs. Big gain. All right, so then what happens is then you'll get guys, you'll get them moving over. Like he said, like that safety will move over. You hit him a couple times on that, and then you can hit them on the go. And I'll show you what that looks like for us. And it's one play. It's one formation, one play, and they know everyone does the same thing each time. And it's really cool. So this now, if you can see, now they brought everybody over. They brought everybody to cover that diamond. There's no safety. They're in cover 0 now. And then 6th grader throws it up. And like you said, these guys can throw these. They can make these passes. You don't have to have, all-star quarterbacks here. So.
Love it. Beautiful.
So we're in the same boat with, we play teams that are bigger than us. They line up in the eye and just run it down our throats, and we can't compete that way. And a couple years earlier, we were getting hit up with, trying to, in the wishbone and things like that. And we just can't compete. And I saw all you guys, Joe Salas and Mackey and like David Hunter was saying, finding this thing where these little kids can succeed and do well. This is the way to do it. And it's like, I applaud you guys for getting it all out there, because I've kind of felt like on an island where my poor kids are getting beat up. There's no, we couldn't compete in the eye or in the wing tee. And this is the way to do it. And I love your guys' vert concepts. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. It's really cool. That's going to be hard for me not to install that diamond or that concept. I mean, it's not the first time I've seen it, but the way you guys are kind of basically just utilizing it, pick your poison. I love that. It's really cool.
Hey Todd, can you throw your email in the chat too?
Yeah.
So the way Todd showed that is actually how I originally ran it. And then I found the beauty, and I watched a video of someone showing how to run stick and all some of the air raid plays with the tight end with their hand on the dirt. And I was like, the kids at the youth level see another lineman. They don't see a tight end. They can't help it, and it drives them crazy. Now, so if I don't have a tight end, I kick my guy out like Todd was and use one of my best receiver on the single side, and my fastest guy will become the fastest guy if he's not the best receiver, goes to where the back of the diamond. And so we'll do it both ways depending on personnel. But if you have a tight end style guy, he just gets lost. And so if you pull that play out sparingly, it's one of the things we'll probably run it once or twice a game. If that, I've gone games and not had to call it. But it just eats people alive when you have that tight end. If you have a tight end that can put his hand in the dirt, because the kids safeties will not look at the tight end for some reason. They'll see all the outside action, freak out, and forget about them.
Yeah, agree.
Hey, I dig the diamond, but I think I like your German Shepherd more.
He's calm, man.
I have 2 of them. Although the plays are great, but I think I'd rather take the German Shepherd. I have 2 of them.
That's funny. So the question just came in on the chat. Anthony Pryor, how's it going? Thanks for coming in. And this is a question that I have for a lot of people because I haven't found the time to do it, but curious how many people run actual RPOs, like a true RPO in here.
My last 2 years in middle school, we did it with both our 7th and 8th grade. Every play.
You're reading and like one of the outside linebackers, and it's either he's pulling or throwing, depending on that guy, or.
We did it. We took it from Coach Hardwick, if you know who Hardwick is. So basically, we would always call run play, and then we would have either a quick game or a bubble game. I'd signaled out so I would actually yell in like Hot Patriots, which would be a run play to the right. And then with my left hand, I would signal what the left side was doing, and the right hand would signal to the right. And then the quarterback could just look pre-snap if they've got it covered or not. Now, my 8th grade quarterback, if I can pull them off YouTube, I've got 2 games that I can post up that'll show it. But my 8th grade quarterback would actually put it in the belly and then pull it out and throw it, depending on if they committed into the box.
That's beautiful. Who else? Anyone else run RPOs at this level?
Only pre-snap.
Yeah,
Pre-snap
exactly.
only.
I do believe they can do it. I feel like I had the quarterback to do it last year too, and we were dabbling with in practice to do it, and he probably could have done it. Honestly, like I'm kind of like Coach Joe Salas, where I practiced for. I guess I don't know if he practiced motioning and RPOs, but we practiced motioning a lot from the start of camp. So we practiced mesh from the start, but we just would want to go fast and we'd want to get to the ball and run plays. And we just basically ran our core plays to death and with success. And like, if we're hitting and we're scoring, like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like I even had time to call the RPO, but I do think they can do it, like a true RPO where he's, in the middle of the handoff, reading that outside linebacker, whoever the player is, and pulling it depending on if they're coming or not. But I don't know, Coach Salas, you guys didn't do too much RPOs, right? I think I asked you just in a chat before, and you said you just want to go fast.
We didn't motion, but we had some RPOs. We just weren't very good at them this year. We had the one little swing RPO with counter blocking. That was our best one. But the traditional ones where you're reading that inside backer, we just weren't very good at them. I can't even. I think it's just because our quarterback was just about 6 foot. When I had a taller quarterback, we were a lot better at them. But we're still gonna practice them, and hopefully we'll be better next year with them.
Right. And Matt Hall, isn't your whole offense based on RPOs? Is that you, Matt?
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. I know. Yeah, it was. We might keep that one RPO in, but man, I'll tell you right now, I'm looking forward to putting all this stuff in because, we benefited because we had a great athlete at quarterback, and like I said the other time, he could make a bad read and still make a play. But yeah, I mean that was basically the very first game of the season. We got pinned down deep and we tried to come out in a different formation than we usually do, and we got tackled in the end zone for a safety. First offensive play of the year, we get a safety, and after that we got into doubles, double twins, and we just ran the zone read the whole time for the rest of the game. Didn't even get out, and then we might call a pass play every now and then, but from that first time we ran it till the end of the game, it was almost like we were at practice because we were running it the whole time. And but then the next week is when we put the RPO in. So we had been working on it a little bit, but it was the next week that we actually kind of unleashed it on the game to see what it would do. And I'm gonna try to find the film where we come out in it. The second series, we come out in it and go straight down the field. I don't know. Again, it's on my laptop somewhere. It's not on Huddle because I had to take a lot of stuff off.
What age group do you coach, Matt?
7th, 8th grade. We don't have separate 7th grade teams and 8th grade teams.
Yeah, me neither.
We're trying. If we run into the rec ball, our rec leagues, and our in South Carolina we have rec leagues, we have Pop Warner, and we have youth football, and they can play all that up until 7th grade, and then after 7th grade, when they're in 8th grade, they've got to, if they're going to play football anymore, they got to play for us. And there are a couple of a couple of the rec teams we get a lot of our guys off of, but our like little youth program in our area that feeds into our high school and feed into our middle schools is god awful. I mean, they haven't won a game in probably 4 years. So a lot of the kids, what they do is they jump across the interstate and play for the other. It's all in the same. They all play in the same county, but they just play for the other kind of league, kind of the teams instead. But so a lot of the times, you know, we're starting from scratch when we get some seventh.
Put that youth air raid offense in. They'll start showing back up.
Well, you know, I'm gonna talk to them about it. I'm gonna talk to who the coaches are, but you know, they're put the biggest guy in the backfield and let him get 5 yards.
Yep.
And you know, and then that guy
doesn't win. Why do they keep doing that? Sorry, youth is a passion of mine because I feel like we lose so many kids before they even get to middle school. I used to be at school and have 80 kids show up, and now I see people like having teams with 24 kids on them. I'm like, when I was in 7th grade and when I was there, like I had 80 kids. Like if you were a boy in the South, like you were going out for the football team.
Yeah,
let's go.
We had a kid that could have helped us some this year, but he decided to play rec ball again because he wanted to be a running back. Now the kid's a guard or a tackle, and you know when he was in the 6th grade last year, when he was in the 6th grade, and I'm out at Carline duty, and he's out there getting picked up, and I told him, and he goes, Coach, I want to run the ball. I said, bud, you're gonna have your hand in the ground. I said, you are not going to run the ball in high school. You're not going to run the ball in middle school. I said, I know you hate hearing that, but I'm just going to be honest with you. You're not going to do that. And your future is on the line. And
so those rec leagues don't have weight limits for
they
field guys?
They used to, and then they took the weight limits out.
Wow.
That's another reason why they're dying. It's all studs.
I'm surprised parents let them play. Coach Matt, I have a question.
Yeah.
I love you're in my chair again. Coach Matt, I have a question about RPOs.
Okay.
When y'all are talking about RPOs, exactly what are y'all talking about?
That's a great point.
Because
we're all defining differently.
You're talking about reading the end and pulling it to run it, or are you talking about blocking the end and reading a second level defender to throw it? I'm a little confused. What are y'all talking about? And I'd be interested in. Obviously, you're not going to start day one. Okay, we're going to run this RPO. We're going to install the whole thing. How some of those guys that actually do that well. How is their progression? That could be another whole roundtable on how to actually teach that in increments, because I think that's where probably you and I are on that. That's not something you just can't go out in one day and install that and do it properly. You got to got to get your mesh, and then you got to get your guy that you're going to read, and then you got to get your whatever your receiver route, or if it's just going to be you're just going to read the one defender on the end line of scrimmage, and it's just going to be a pull for a quarterback run. Which if I had your guy last year, that's what I would do. I would just read that defender and just get that big scoundrel out in the open field.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any RPOs chalked up, and that's a great point, man, because I think a lot of people define it differently, and I think that's number one. When some people say RPO, just like the first people that chimed in tonight, they're thinking pre-snap, right? And they're thinking it's a run pass option even before the snap. And that's one thing that we do. And that's not when I think RPO, that's not what I'm talking about. That's one thing that we do.
Right.
Is we come over the line and we call Roger or whatever, but this whole thing is they're running GT counter here. And depending on the numbers, we'll either decide pre-snap if we're going to run it or pass it, right? So that's some people's definition of RPO. When I'm saying it, I'm more thinking of him, the quarterback, as he's riding that running back, he's looking at this overhang defender, and this is the wrong thing to describe it, because this completely will be different. But basically, he's reading this an outside linebacker, right? And depending on where, if he comes toward this, he will throw. And this, trust me, don't take this to heart as far as the diagram goes. But there's somebody is designated to run at this guy's heels. So as this quarterback is riding the handoff, he's looking at that linebacker the whole time. And if that linebacker comes to the line, he pulls it and throws it behind, right? And
that's that's the concept of the whole play. Yeah, I would be interested to see how some of you guys actually break that down and teach that in increments. I mean,
I'd love to see that practice. I'd love to see how that works, practice-wise.
So right now, what we did last year was we had him reading it the whole year from day one. I said, okay, I want your eyes. I just wanted him to get used to it. Just have his eyes every time he handed the ball, every time he rode him. He was watching him. I never pulled the trigger of him doing it in the game, but I wanted from day one. I mean, he has to do something with himself, so he might as well be, training his eyes on the right guy if we ever got to a point where we wanted to run it.
He's keen on the.
Hey, Matt, you're talking about basically Coach Mackey's one-back power, correct?
Yeah. So I would watch Coach Mackey has a couple good videos on it, but essentially, yes, he's one back and he's deciding in the middle of the play, in the middle of the handoff, if he's going to pull it and throw it. And again, this is the wrong play. Do not use this as the barometer. I just pulled up whatever, just to draw the fact that there's a receiver running to this space that a linebacker is in while there's a handoff happening. And actually, it probably would be reversed. So he could, he can look that way as, the guy's crossing his face in front of him, but he's looking at that linebacker in some way, shape, or form.
Which linebacker is he keen on? The outside linebacker?
Yeah, and again, guys.
We're seeing you, Matt. We're not seeing your screen.
Yeah, you're not sharing it.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. My bad. And
Basically,
I thought it was just me. I was like, what?
Coach Salas, you probably could actually do this on the fly much better than I can, to be honest. But basically, the point is that you got a running back crossing the quarterback's face. The quarterback is looking at this outside linebacker. He's looking at this outside linebacker, and we got a receiver kind of running a hunt route behind. And it depends on this outside linebacker. So if he comes in to come at the run, right, to support run, the quarterback will pull it mid-ride and throw it out to this space that this guy's filling. So it's either
but we would be reading that inside backer.
Inside linebacker, yeah.
That's what we would do. We would read that inside.
So just the next one to the left.
We'd be reading that.
So he comes all the way in.
Yeah.
He's coming all the way over.
That one. You'd be reading that one.
Oh, okay, good. See, that shows my ignorance toward it. See,
that's what we would do.
Have the
Hey, Coach Joe, Sal, are y'all even when he has the safety rolled down when they're safety?
Well, we wouldn't. I mean, we wouldn't see that look he's giving right there.
Right. Okay, that's what was throwing me off. That was more like a 3-5 or
that was a weird look
4
there.
Look, you might get single high, but I don't know.
We would. But traditional RPO, you're reading the backside inside backer.
Right.
And if you got a taller quarterback, when I was at Harnett Central, we had about a 6'3", 6'4" quarterback, and that was by far our most explosive play. But when I had a great quarterback last year, but he was, just at 6 foot, and I just don't think he could see it as well. So it just was never a good play. And we were doing Mackey's deal where, we're a GT team and we were trying to do the little scoop block, Mackey's scoop block when we were running RPO. So the linebackers weren't triggering as hard, so we had multiple things that we got to correct. We're going to run it off of counter action this year and see if that makes a bit difference. And we got a different quarterback, our JV quarterback's coming up. So he actually has a little better knack for it. So we'll try it again. But traditionally, on college level, they're running inside zone away and reading the backside inside backer in the box.
Yeah.
And this is
he's got to either trigger or he's got to hang.
What is this route back here that he's running?
Like a snag route?
A snag or a slant?
Yeah, we run a slant and tell them to aim right behind that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mackey just kind of runs more just a straight line to right behind them. But it's, in college when they're running either inside or outside zone, you're getting, those linebackers, they have to flow to fit. So you're forcing their hand a little better than that scoop block.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
We ran
in
that.
college when they start,
Well,
it's like
typically
elephants
at
on
the-
parade, man. When they start moving, them inside backers, they have to fill, or else that thing's gonna squirt out the back and be gone.
Well, typically, don't you sort of teach if you're that backer on that side and the back to your side crosses the quarterback's face, then you're going to go like to the backside A gap, right? So he's he's supposed to move, or that's, then you got your cutback right there, for the R for the handoff if he just sits there and squats.
Yeah, if he hangs,
and that's what we're looking
the
at.
zone's gonna kill him.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at, because that's kind of how we would teach defense. If that running back crosses the quarterback's face, then that linebacker's got to go back to that gap, because he's got to cut off that that inside cutback for that back, but that opens up the RPO.
So the only time we run the RPO, it's kind of this formation where if you bump the Y out, and we tell our R always get outside the numbers, and we tell our Y to get at the top of the numbers, and then we move F over just right inside the hash. And now we're reading the backer closest to F.
Closest to L?
To F. We're reading the linebacker you got in red. That's who we're reading, and we basically just run it was more like an 8-yard stop. And we blocked the end.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we blocked this end. Or actually, you know what? I can't remember if we blocked this end or not. Like if the end was a stud, we block him. If he was a dud, we let him go, because we're like, you're not gonna catch our running back.
Right.
But we watched this linebacker. Now, what teams started doing is they started putting their best player at linebacker to stop us, and that gave us some problems. But that's how we ran it. But our goal.
That's what we get every week.
Yeah, our what we always told our guys was like, look, regardless if we run the ball or throw the ball, if we run the ball, if we hand it off, we should be getting at least 4 to 5 yards every time. Because we're going to block, and when we're blocking, we're busting it open. The only problem we had with our running back that year was he was a big kid. He was probably about 175 and could run, but he thought he was a track star and would, instead of running inside, he'd bust it outside and run around.
No.
So, but the thing is, we'd be like, why the hell are you doing it? And all right, I said it in a game. I'm like, why is he running outside? And then he hits the corner and he's gone for a touchdown. So, he was just good enough to get outside.
Coach, on a side note, you saying that made me think about something. I always get the don't throw the ball, 3 bad things can happen. So I'm going to tell those guys every time now. I said, and he can also bounce the ball every time. So let's just keep throwing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, cool. Hey, so one mention on the next roundtable, someone's asking if we can do a signaling plays in. I think that's a great idea. I think we all can really get value out of hearing how each other does it. And it could be a long conversation like this, because I think we all do versions of what each other does, and there's different ways to do it. So I think that's a great call out, Todd. Let's do that at the next roundtable. We can start talking about it online or whatever, but I think that would be a nice big topic for us coming up for the next time. But yeah, man, I think it's been great. We're solving some problems here, and I think we got a lot of really cool ideas from Mike and David and Todd as far as their quick game goes. So appreciate everybody being on again. We'll do it again in a couple weeks. Man, thank you guys so much for continuing to be active with this. I think it's just such a cool thing, that kind of mission that we're all on, to keep youth football numbers thriving, and hopefully it'll, help the numbers for the high school levels as well. I think everyone here kind of feels that they just want to help youth football thrive and get those numbers back. So appreciate everybody being on. Anybody? Go ahead.
I just wanted to say I love this. I love this whole thing, and it's I've been struggling looking for people who go through the same things that I do. It's like you watch all these guys that coach high school, and it's like looks great, but it's like there's a couple of unique things at our level that make it a little bit different. And it's like, how do you do this and how do you do that? And it's great to hear from you guys and learn from you, especially with the middle school mindset. I just appreciate everybody being here.
Yeah, I think it's a different game. I mean, I really do. I mean, it's nothing negative about saying that. I think high school is different than college, and college is different than the pros. I think these are different games, and there's nuances to it all. So appreciate you guys all chiming in, because I think we could all help each other out. So awesome. So yes, please continue to tell other coaches about it. If nothing else, my whole goal was to just give coaches options. A lot of these guys don't run it because they don't know it. Same with me. I mean, I ran the wing tee. We all kind of make fun of the wing tee. I ran it. That's what I came up in. Whatever. But I think a lot of guys just don't know that they can run the spread, and they can actually install it relatively easily if they get some information. So let's continue to kind of spread the word. And my biggest thing is have kids, choose football again, guys. They're choosing other sports, and they can choose it year round if they want to. So let's help them choose football. I think this type of offense will get a lot of different types of kids with different body types, and they can do different things back to our game at an earlier age. So,
hey man, can I say
thank you, everyone.
I was just gonna say, I noticed, I was by myself, isolated, wanting to run this. I feel like a lot of us are. But the one thing someone said to me, who was actually a wing tee guy, and he told me, if you're gonna do it, burn the ships, land the boat and burn them. Because if you're gonna go air raid, you better sell out like you're an old school wing tee coach, and just keep calling it and believe that it's gonna bust through.
And practice like it too. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Believe it. When the parents ask you a question, or some of y'all don't have to deal with parents, or other coaches ask you a question, have that same conviction that you had from day one. Like, no, we're going to do this, and people they'll jump on board pretty fast. But I noticed a lot of people in chat and in the other group haven't done this before. We've all been there where it's like, oh God, we're going to do this, but what if we go 4 and out?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. You go 4 and out, run the ball too, guys. Don't worry about it.
Hey man, before you get out of it, man, I just say, man, I appreciate this group, man, because I played my entire life, and last season was my first season coaching, and this season will be my second. So I'm just excited to meet other people that's at the same level, man, and other coaches that's higher than me. So I joined a bunch of the Facebook groups, man, that's football, but a lot of them has been established already, and it's kind of good to be a part of a group and part of a smaller group of guys just starting. That's just starting out, so you can really sit down and talk versus being in a group full of thousands of guys, and now you got thousands of answers where, everybody feel like they're a guru or something, man. But I appreciate this group, man. It teaches me a lot.
Yes, sir. No, you're a big part of it, Randy, and congrats on that. Did that job come through, or what? Is it done? Done deal?
I'm not really sure yet. The athletic director said he'll get with me, but I mean, it's pretty much a go. It came faster than I expected. So like I said, we had success last season, so looking to continue that on, except be the head coach this time.
Yes, sir. You got it, man. That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you being a big part of this.
Can I ask one more question?
Of course.
Just before we leave, I kind of be interested to know in some of you guys' different areas, just kind of, since it's been a couple of weeks, and how the circumstances have changed regarding, rules and regulations going back to any type of practices or anything. I'd just be interested in see what some of the other areas, what you guys are thinking about in your areas as far as when things will be kicking back up, or is it or if you're still just shut down and going to be shut down for a period of time, if you don't mind.
Wait and see mode out in Northern Cali.
Still nothing in your area? Do you think anything's gonna, can y'all, so even in the summer, no tentative dates of when you can get kids back together again?
Now, I mean, they've technically our school systems, which is the fields we play on, our school systems in Northern California are technically out till fall. So right now, if it stays like it is, we can't even use the dang high school football field like we do. It's so funny because we got a email come out from the governor today, and half the people are perceiving it to mean there's no football season, and half of the people are perceiving it to mean we have football season starting in, whatever, August. So
I got you.
Yeah. Well, that's Northern California. I'll be quiet and let other people chime in.
In South Carolina, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Real quick, down in Florida, it's wait and see. We're I got the kids that are dying to get out there and practice, believe it or not, but we're wait and see down in Florida.
In South Carolina, I think the high school league for us said June 1st. If there's any other South Carolina guys in here, they said June 1st, but they had to wait. That's according to what the governor says also. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking
we're playing.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking if we're going to get back together, it's going to be in July. That's just me speculating.
So everybody's kind of still wait and see. There's no, as far as, and we are too, as far as it doesn't think, anything coming down the pipe soon for anybody. Everybody is still just kind of like we are now, just kind of waiting and see for some direction. Is that kind of where everybody is? I was just kind of being interested to know, and we are too.
People around me are saying, well, if the colleges aren't playing, how are the high schools and the middle schools going to play? So,
in Texas, they still debating school years, so we don't even know.
In New York, the governor just closed the schools for the rest of the year on Friday, so we haven't heard. I mean, they just literally got closed Friday, so still a crap shoot here in New York also.
I would think, man, if they take away football, man, that's gonna hurt a lot of that. Ain't that really gonna hurt the spring sports? Because a lot of schools depend on football money to pay for those other sports.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm in Tampa Bay. I'm in Tampa Bay area, Florida. Four middle school job came up in my county in the last 2 weeks, and I applied for all four of them. And one of them said estimated start date June 1st. The other three said estimated start date August the 3rd. So I don't know.
At least they're giving start dates. That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, I would take August 3rd.
Yep, I'll take it.
Better than nothing.
In South Carolina, that's when we can have practice, and we can have summer conditioning, but we can have practice and
yeah, that's us too. Yeah,
they haven't even decided out here if we can have practice or summer workouts or anything.
Wow, that's out in Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, they ain't get rid of no football in Texas.
Football in Texas, it's not going to happen.
We said the same thing, and they like, we still don't know.
Randy, what about
they do.
North Carolina?
North Carolina, as far as I know, I haven't heard anything. I mean, the governor issued his plan to reopen stuff, but I mean, they ain't really said too much about football. They really just trying to plan it by ear.
Yeah. Well,
right, appreciate it. Yeah.
Hey, Randy, if they don't have it in South Carolina, they have it in North Carolina. I'm coming up and coaching with you.
Hey man, I'm gonna need all the help I can get. It was only 2 of us last season, man. So.
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Oh
that's brutal.
With middle schoolers, Lord.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. That's enough to pull your hair out.
Only 2 of us, man. My friend that I went to college with, he did defense. I did offense, and midway through, one of our players' dads started to help us out. But I mean, he didn't really do too much outside of what we do. But again, we went 6-1, conference champions, and I ain't.
Let's cook in the kitchen sometimes better.
Hey, Mike.
Yo.
You got any more film of the opposing team's players all pissed off?
Go on. I can hook you up.
There ain't nothing better.
I have a good one somewhere of the opposing guy pissed off. I hate that because you feel for them because they're like 12, but it's kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Like, shit.
Doyle McKee, that's a great point. Too much money
What part of
involved for
Florida are
football
you?
not to happen. That's a huge point. Follow the money. We're going to play ball this year. We got to.
Yeah.
We need people to be affected, honestly. We're playing ball.
Yeah, strange times, strangeness.
Yes, sir. All right, cool, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. I'm glad everyone's getting value out of these. I'm going to keep doing them. Happy to do them. I'm learning so much from you guys. So, yeah, let's keep it up. Keep the conversations going online, and then you're going to start seeing some individual videos coming out from coaches that have been doing it, like Mike and David and other coaches I found. A lot of people hit me up after that appearance on Mackey. So thank you guys for supporting what I'm doing, so I can go on places like that and represent for us middle school guys and youth guys. And so, yeah, we'll just keep it going and keep making sure everyone knows that they can run it. Kids can, ball out at this age too and have some fun. So, yeah, everyone have a good evening, and then I'll see you guys online tomorrow, I'm sure.
Enjoy it. Good stuff, guys. Thank y'all.
All right, fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See ya.
Thank you.